Hello everybody. Welcome friends. We are going to start a new series here on YouTube on Wednesdays, and I'm going to try to come on the same day and time each week. So that's noon Eastern and 11 Central. So today we're going to use some envelopes that we've got here, and these are just business size envelopes. Now this would work with any size that you wanted, and every envelope is going to be different. So when you come on, and if you are logged into your Gmail or Google account, then you can pop in and into the chat. So I hope that we will have some interaction today. Oh, there's somebody. Hello, Christina. Welcome. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Okay, so you guys, anybody that's on can be over in the chat and just kind of interact over there. That'll be fun. So let's get started. We don't want to wait too long. And I don't know how long. We're not going to make a complete journal from start to finish, and we're going to just continue to work on the same one. Hi, Christine. How are you? And so we'll just work on it as we, go along, and however far we get each time, that's fine. And I don't have a set time, because whatever we're working on for the day, when we complete that part, then we'll just be done for the day, okay? So we're going to start, and this is the kind, I got a whole bunch of these at an estate sale, and they are so old that I'm pretty sure that the gummed, they were, they had the gummed thing on it, so it would be easy to stick, or anyway, the sticky stuff. It is not sticky at all anymore, so we're not going to be able to use that. But it doesn't keep us from using the envelope, right? And if I was going to use it, I would just, I'd just use a little bit of glue or something. That's still great envelopes. Hi, Susie. So let's get started. I'm going to take and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these and make a tall skinny journal. I haven't made one of those, and I thought that would be so fun. Hey, Susan, how are you? Hey, Carol. So we're going to take one, and what you want to do, and also I tell you what I am going to use my Fabri-Tac glue today, because it dries a little bit slower, and it will give me a lot more time to get my envelope into the position that I want. So that's what I'm going to use for this part anyway. So we're going to take another envelope, and we're going to take the flap, and we're going to turn it over this way, like this, and we're going to slide it in here, and what we want to do is line it up. And this is why I was saying I want to just use oh my goodness, it got caught on itself. In fact, if you turn that other flap over, then you can kind of make sure that you are really lined up. When I was messing around with these before, I could tell that I didn't have them right on top of each other, and that's why I want to use that Fabri-Tac glue, so that I have just a second to get it where I want it. So we're just going to go ahead and get this glue down, and I know it doesn't go all the way down in here. So one, you've got your opening facing up, and the next one you put on, you have it facing down. I'm just going to try and slide that in there. I'm hoping it doesn't just move its glue where it wants it. And now I can pull that back and fold it, line it up, and then just give it a good press. Like that. Little Egg Harbor. that is a great name for a little place, right? So look how many people we've got over here on our YouTube channel. Thanks for popping in, everybody. I want to make sure it's kind of lined up down this way as well. Okay, so let's put the next one on. So now all we're going to do is the opening up and the opening down on the other. Okay, so one is up and one is down. I'm just going to squeeze some in here. And I'm not too worried about having it completely, whoops, to the edge or anything. Everything we're going to do, it's going to be held in place anyway, so I'm not worried about it. And then line it back up over here. So now we've got 3. And you know, I want to also make sure, so that these can be a pocket, I want to make sure that I didn't glue those down. Oop, that one is almost, okay. So be sure and check that out as you go along. So now we've got 3. I think I'm only going to use about, now this one is kind of icky looking, but I'm going to cover it up so I can live with that. How many of you have made one of these? Rome, Georgia. You think you'll mow the lawn today? We just got our lawn mowed today. It was getting kind of long and shaggy in some parts. But I don't, when it's so hot like this, I don't really like to mow it too short and too often, because it helps to keep that moisture in there. And my goodness, it's just been so hot. I want to keep as much of that in as possible and not have to water it too much. That's expensive. And hours, a lot of people have grass here in Texas that when it is not getting any rain, it just kind of turns brown and it's dormant and it's not dead. And as soon as it rains again, it, you know, it gets all green and pretty. And we do not have grass that does that, so we have to be careful and not let it get too dry. Okay. Oh, you love the smell of cut, right? Yeah, right? And then one of my girls just thinks that, you know, using grass, it has to have so much water and everything is just not a good thing. It's not an environmentally friendly thing to do. And she kind of has a point, right? I'm looking to add some stuff that's a mixture to put in. I'm tired of dealing with all the mowing, all the watering, and we've been looking into doing some things and adding a mix that's got clover in it, and it doesn't get real tall. Okay, so here we go. We've got 4 of these. I think I'm going to put 6. I think 6 will be a good number. But we've been looking at this mix, and supposedly it doesn't get real tall, and the clover, you know, can bloom. You don't have to mow it quite as often. And when the clover blooms, then, you know, all of our pollinators have something that, you know, they can feed off of. Or, you know, I don't know what they do with it. Are they feeding off of that? Anyway, they like it, right? They like the little things of blossoms. And it doesn't take nearly as much water. And I think it's one of those things that, you know, it does pretty well. And then I learned, I read this now. Who knows? You know, we read all kinds of stuff, and who knows how much of it is true. Okay, so we just keep folding this back on itself. I like this a lot. Okay, some of you might remember when we did one of these before that was with envelopes, and oh my gosh, it was so confusing. I made it so confusing. This is a really easy way to remember what you're doing, right? Just folding it like this and back, folding that back, flat back. So you've got one open and the other this way. But I was reading that, you know, years ago, that if you had a pretty yard, it was clover as being, they, you know, if they treat your yard, they're killing all the clover in it. So I don't know, we've just gotten where we just kill all the things that are beneficial. And I guess that clover is a really great thing for the yard itself, for the ground. What it does for your ground is great. Okay, now what you can do, this point, you could like cover this and just fold it like this with this last flap. And I think I'm going to do that. So the back cover, if I want a pocket on there, I can do something else. But I think at this point, I will just go ahead and close that in. And that'll give it a nice look on the back. And just get that glued down. How many of you have got some envelopes you could use for something like this? We're going to do another envelope thing where you could use them in a little bit different way too, but this is the way we're doing this one this time. Christine says she made one a while back and she used some smaller envelopes. Yes, I've not used this size like this. So this will be kind of fun and different because now everything that we're going to use in here, we're going to need it to be like tall and skinny, right? Okay, fake fall weather, right? Yes, a wildflower yard. Oh, well, I tell you what, we had somebody down the street from us that moved in, and they that's what they did. They took out, they moved here, they took out the entire grass in the yard, and she replanted it with all kinds of flowers and things so that as the year progressed, you know, she had something pretty all the time. Well, they didn't live there but maybe a couple years, and I mean, she was always out there working in it. I'm just going to run through here. I think I've got all these, but I just want to make sure that we've got them open. Looks like they are. So she loved working out in the yard, and she was always out there, and she was, you know, like redoing some of it seasonally. And, you know, because sometimes it's just like if you've ever noticed landscape companies that do commercial things, they'll swap out stuff sometimes, you know, from one thing to another. And she was trying to, you know, make it real pretty all year long. And so what happened was they were only there for a couple years, and then they moved, and oh my gosh, you know, the next people come along, they have no idea what to do with it, and it is the biggest mess down there. I mean, that entire yard just is like, it's not pretty anymore. The people don't know what to do. Okay, now, so that's the only problem with something like that. Okay, so now then we've got this like this, and I want to start covering some of these. And I thought since it had a little bit of blue in the envelope, it would be fun to use some blue colors. Well, I don't have that much blue sticking out, you guys. That's not even really enough to hardly think about, is it? But let's do this. Let me see if this is the one I was going to use. Got one that's a little bit darker than the other. Yeah, so this is a Distress Oxide. This one is called Faded Jeans. And I think, now all of it is going to get some paper. So I think what I'm going to do is just to kind of hide some of this, let's just kind of blend some on. And I'm only going to cover, I'm trying to think what I'm doing, you guys. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not real thrilled with my blending techniques. But let's go ahead and put some on here. Kind of, this will be, let me grab a piece of paper. So this is a regular, you know, letter size piece of paper. You can tell I've already used it for some staining. Oh my goodness. What in the world? Okay, let's fold it. Maybe it'd be easier if we give it a fold. Why are some things so hard to get in? This is a really long envelope. That makes me wonder if it's really a business size or if it's even longer. Did that one like glue itself down? Yep, it's trying to. Sure is. There we go. Good thing we checked on that one. Those were kind of difficult. Susan says this is her favorite color of ink, huh? This, what did I say it was? Faded Jeans. It is pretty. So I'm just going to do a little bit here on this edge. I don't know. I guess if we're going to ink, you know what I always say, I guess we should ink it all. I'm not going to have you watch me ink every stinking thing, though. That'll be boring. But we'll do this, and then we'll start cutting. Now, if you want to, if you don't have a handy ruler, what you can do is just take your envelope and put it down and, you know, mark where you need it to be and then cut it out with scissors. You could do that. I'm going to actually go ahead and measure. And I've decided what I'm going to do is, or I think, let me know what you think. I think instead of putting it up here and having it be really tight for a pocket, I think I'm just going to fold this part down and cover all of this with a piece of paper. What do you guys think of that? I think that's going to be the best idea for this. What do you think? And remember, we're going to use it as a tall, skinny journal. But I think that's what I'm going to do. And then just cover it down. It's not thick enough that it's going to matter. Just, you know, thin envelope paper. Hello, Martha. Thanks for joining us. We're just working on our envelope journal here that we've started. We're going to use it as a tall, skinny one. We've used business size envelopes. I wish I had a piece of junk mail here so I could actually see if that's really... Well, you know, envelopes are all different sizes, actually, so I wouldn't even know. They come in so many sizes. So you want to make this, I'm just going to make it a little bit less because I think we want kind of the continuity of being able to see some of the envelope on the outside. So I'm going to cut it at 9 3/8. I think that's going to be a good size for that. So let me write that down on something. Oh, here's a little tag. So I'm going to make it at 9 3/8. And then how tall do we need it? And so we're going to leave a little edge on one side. We need to on both sides. Actually, let me look at the real measurement. That's 9 1/2. You know, let's just make it 9 1/4. It's always easy. If you cut a 1/4 inch off, then you've got that little bit that you can put on, and this will be 2 3/4. Okay, there we go. And then we can just start cutting some pieces to cover up our sides, or, you know, our sides where our flaps are, I guess I should say. Okay. Let's just get going. And you know, that is such an odd size, right? So I'm going to cut my, let's put it this way. So we're going to do 2 3/4 wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started and cut the width. And line it up, keep it straight. So we've got that one. I've got several pieces of blues here. And I might have to mix it up. I hope I've got pulled out enough to be able to get the whole thing done. We'll just start gluing these little babies on there. And oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. I hope that didn't make a terrible noise. Okay, so I can get 4 strips off of one sheet, and then 9 1/4 wide. I'll have to get out my little arm here. Stretch the little arm. So 9 1/4. And then on these, you know, you could go ahead and, these are really thin. I've noticed it seems like always a single, a pattern paper that only has the pattern on one side always seems to be a lot thinner, a lighter weight paper than when they are double-sided. Even for, you know, some of the better quality paper. I don't know why. Of course, you know, I don't know anything about the paper processing industry. How about any of you? I think that would be so interesting, though. I think it's always fun to learn about some of those things. And here's a pretty one. Now, this one, this is a double-sided paper that I just grabbed out of my stash. And I thought that it would coordinate. And you know what, you guys? I pulled all of these papers out based on the fact that the insides of those envelopes were blue. And you're not going to be able to see but one smidgen of that. But it'll still be pretty, right? Will the measurements be in the newsletter this week? You know what? I don't know that they will, Susan, because all envelopes are going to be different. So every envelope would have different measurements in it. It would be fun. I tell you what, and you know, and the flaps are different on all of them. If I was not going to have the type of flaps that these were, I might do a different kind of cover on them. I'll show you in a second what I mean. Let me cut some of these. I don't think that a person would want to just cut them straight across if they had a different style of envelope. So this one is 9 1/4. But thank you for mentioning the newsletter. You guys, I usually put, well, I didn't now. I guess I could have, since we are only on YouTube today. I'll have to remember that. Can't put very many links in things when I'm doing a Facebook Live, and so when I do them both together at the same time, I kind of leave out links and stuff until I'm finished. And so I've gotten so used to that I didn't even think to put the link to the newsletter in today. But I'll put that in a little while. When we're done, I'll go back and it'll be in the description. And see, this is another one that's single-sided and is so thin feeling. Let me just cut a few strips off of here and we'll move on. I don't think everybody wants to have to do this over and over. But we'll get it going. So then you'll have a chance to work on one. If you want to, you know, work along, this will give you a chance to get yours together. Just the basic foundation of the journal. And then we'll start adding other things that would be fun for a long, skinny journal. Okay, let's move this out of the way. And, well, shoot, where did I put the journal? Oh my goodness, you guys. There it is. So on this one, I mean, all these flips and flaps, it's like, well, where in the world was the front or the back? Or, you know, so we'll be able to tell that because, well, because why? There we go. Because we did this. We sealed the back one. So this is the, you know, this will be the front and the back cover. So this is the one we're working on now. And if you want to, you could even just put a tiny bit of glue and seal this down. And just go ahead and get it out of the way. I don't want to put very much. Okay, so now we've got this here, We've got a little bit of white and our inking around the edge. And if you want to, instead of inking the edges of your envelope, you could just ink the edges of your paper, and it would give you a little bit different look. I don't even think that color would, this doesn't even look that great with that blue. I had a different color blue out and I thought, oh no, I don't think that's going to look the best. But now I'm looking at this thinking it probably would have looked the best. You just never know, right? So, and I think what I'm going to do with these is I think I will just wait and do my inking until I put all of my papers on. Now Fabri-Tac, I think this is so funny. When I found out that that Fabri-Tac worked great on paper, I had no idea. All the years that I thought that Fabri-Tac was only, meant for, well, and it was meant for fabric, which it works great on. But to find out, and this is made by Beacon, and if you go to the Beacon site, you can actually find a chart that tells you all the stuff that it is good for. Now, these are bigger pieces, and then I'll have to, and now that I'm looking at that, I'm like thinking, I'm not sure I've got enough paper out here because I've only got these other two pieces. Of course, I didn't cut all of this one, but, and I don't think I want to do all of them. I'll have to find something else to, to kind of work with that. And excuse me, what would be pretty is like some of those papers that are kind of like Mediterranean themed, that are yellow and blue colors. That could be really pretty. That could be pretty in there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do the next little strip. And like I said, I think I'll just wait and do more inking when I get this all done. What would I use the small cutoff squares for? Are you talking about, were you talking about this, Martha? We can use some of these for anything we want to, like for some ephemera. For the rest of the book while we're working on the book. And you wouldn't have to do, look how naked that looks. After we got ink on this one, look how naked this one looks. Oh, I was going to tell you, if you wanted to, this isn't going to be the right size. You would cut a piece off the size of that would fit in here in your envelope, like from here to here, a nice piece like this. You'd need it to go all the way up to your crease, and then what you could do on this edge would be, well, here, let me grab a piece of paper. Well, this isn't going to be big enough. Let me refold it. Let's refold it and we'll look at how we would do this. And then I'm just going to fold it here. This is kind of just a rough idea of another way you could cover the parts of your envelope here, okay? So, got a big mess on all of it. So what you would do is you'd cut your little piece to fit in here. I tell you, these little flaps, these guys are really annoying. They're hard to get the stuff into. Okay, so now this paper is snug all the way to the bottom. And so what I would do is I would take my pencil, pen, whatever you want to mark with, go all the way around here, and just make your marks here all the way around, okay? And then you would just cut it out right there on your line. Just trim it down. You guys, I think I had too much coffee. I'm feeling all jittery. Too much coffee. I didn't even think I drank that much coffee today. Actually, though, I was just telling Steve that I realized I'd put my breakfast in and heated it up, and then I never ate. Like, well, that was not smart. Okay, so now we've got this weird shape. So whatever shape your envelope, this is, you know, some of them have a pointed down envelope, or, you know, opening like that, like the little V shape, or some of them have like this. And so this would be your decorative paper. And now you can put this on right like this. You've got your, you know, your paper that you can cover up that, right? And so that's how you could completely even get this part done. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to, you know, do the little straight pieces for this. And let's go ahead and, this is a heavier weight, so it'll be easier for me to ink. Let's see what it looks like if we just do it the other way and just ink the edges of the cut papers that we're going to put on. You guys, I just play along and show you what we're doing and give you options and ideas. And, you know, then you can take those. You can take any of those ideas and make it your own. Because when you're making your paper craft, it is your own. And like even what I call my page here, my Artful Adventures, it's not about my adventures. When you say my Artful Adventures, you're talking about you. So look, there's how that would look if we put it on there. That's kind of cute. I like that. And we do still have that tiny little bit of interest from the other, the inside of the envelope. Yeah, I was thinking we would be seeing more of that. But, you know, once you tuck that other envelope into that little place and glue that down to join them together, yeah, you're not seeing all of that. Okay. Edith, yes. So true. Oh my goodness. And then we could come back in here and still, if we wanted to, you know, add some more of this. Oh, I was going to tell you, on the Beacon site, if you look at the chart of what you can use Fabri-Tac for, oh my goodness, it is a whole wealth of things. It's just like when you, like I told you that reptile glue had originally been made for tile work. And then somebody decided it was, you know, great for other stuff. And so now they have it a craft adhesive. And you can see, look at all the things it says you can use it on. Ceramic, wood, plastic, rocks, shells, cloth. I mean, just the whole gamut of all kinds of craftiness. So we are just, this is all we're going to be doing for today. And I'll just keep, you know, working on this. You can hang out with me here if you want to. While we're continuing to work on this here, I'm just going to put these other little few things on these flaps and then call that done for now with you here. And I'll be working on that. And so I'll have my papers down by next Wednesday. So we'll be back on here again next Wednesday, same time. So noon Eastern, 11 Central, and we'll work some more on it. We'll see what else we can come up with to make some fun things for a Tall Skinny Journal. I don't even know yet. I don't even know what they're going to be. That's the beauty of creating, right? There's so many options. So many options. Okay. Okay, let's see. I hope that doesn't sound terrible in the through the microphone, you guys. Yes, Susan says she's guilty of that too. Especially coffee. You know, maybe I'll warm up a cup of coffee and then I'm busy and I completely forget about it. And then later somebody else will open the microwave and they go, oh, here's your coffee. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've had coffee that I have warmed up so many times that, you know, then it isn't even fit to drink because I don't put anything in it. It's just plain old black coffee. I started doing that several years ago when I got onto a different food plan for a while. And, you know, I thought, well, that really wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad to deal with. So here's, oh, I thought I hadn't used that one. Oh, shoot. I guess I had. I guess it was the star one I hadn't used. And then I have this one too. This isn't that great of a mix in with it, but it is something different. I mean, it's got a little bit more. And you know, a journal, my goodness, we add so many things to it in the end. We can have all kinds of little papers on there, right? And they don't even have to all be blue. They don't even have to be whatever. You can just mix and match them to your heart's delight. And see, I don't even know. This was how some of these came. It was a whole box of those. And they were cheap. And you know, my goodness, envelopes aren't that cheap. And I scored another one that was, I think there's something like 6, they might be 5 by 7 5 by 7, or you know, meant for 5 by 7 inch cards. And I got a box of those and I just thought, I don't even know. I even stood there and Googled up how much they normally were for a box like that. I'm like, is this even a good deal? And then I'm looking at them and I open them up and I'm like thinking, oh, one great thing about that box that they had was they were old enough that they had started to turn. Instead of being, you know, nice and white, they had started to turn. And they didn't look like cream colored envelopes. They just looked kind of, you know, vintagey. And I thought, oh, now that I see that they're kind of vintagey, I'm going to get them. At that point, they, you know, it's so funny the way that we look at things and think about them when we are looking to buy something, right? Or is it that we're trying to justify the purchase? I actually wasn't going to buy them because I thought, you know, this isn't that great of a deal. But, you know, how many times do you get a chance to buy a whole bunch of envelopes that are kind of vintage looking just because of how long they've been sitting somewhere? Not always. And if somebody is selling them because they are vintage, they're going to charge you more. Yeah, we're really fortunate where we live. There are so many estate sales all the time. Oh, you guys have got, okay, one more of these. And then maybe we'll do the front and the back while we're sitting here doing this. So I want to know how many of you are going to make one. How many are you going to work a tall, skinny journal with me? Okay, let's see. What else have we got? Oh, let's just go ahead and put another one of these. This one looks pretty. It's got enough white on it that once you put the ink on the edges, it really shows up a lot better. Those darker ones are harder to see. And I probably could have grabbed out a much darker ink for the edges to make it pop out a little bit better. But they'll be fine. You know, by the time we add other goodies, it's not even going to be that noticeable. Okay. And look at me. I want points for using colored ink other than that one we always are using, that is that vintage photo, that brown color that we use so much. And I tell you what, this really does give a nice amount of time to slide stuff around. And the only thing you have to consider is it's going to take a little bit longer to completely dry too. but you know, that's fine. That's not a problem. So here here's our little journal coming together. And so we'll put something on the front and the back. Let's see. I'm not sure. Well, I cut way too many of these, you guys. That was not a good idea. I guess on some of these I could use the strips. I'll be able to figure out something to do it. Now that I got carried away with that. I've still got a piece here. I don't have enough to do the front and the back. I kind of like that. Let's use that for the front. That's kind of pretty. I kind of wish I had some of that for the front, but I do not. Where's my ruler? Where's my ruler? There it is. So this is about 4 1/8. Oh man, so that makes, this needs to be 3 7/8. And this direction is 9 1/2, so that needs to be 9 1/4. Oh, that's the same way, that's the same measurement we were using already, right? So let's cut this out. So 3 7/8. Okay, I like this paper trimmer. It's easy to find those measurements on. I had one paper trimmer at some point that it was really hard to find smaller measurements, and I didn't keep it very long. I don't even know where I got it. But I did not care for that at all, because a lot of times you've got to have some of those little small measurements in there. And then we'll ink this piece and put this on the front. So, and actually, you know, you could use either of these to be the front. And we could put it this way, and this could be the front, and then when we open it, the pocket is in here going this way. I don't like that. You know what? If you were a left-handed person, you might like the pocket this way because you could slide things in and out that way. But I am not. I'm right-handed, and I think I would rather have my pockets going this way so I could slide things in that way, right? So that's the way I'm going to do it. This is going to be the front. And it's the, you know, the side that's already, it looks better anyway, but when you cover the other side with paper, it's not going to show up anyway, right? And I think I'm going to go a little heavier handed on the ink on this one. Oh my goodness. So Carol says I think that was in response to making one along with us. Carol says she's planning to do it. Great. She loves all the distress colors. I know, right? Oh my goodness. And I like the distress, I like the distress oxides because to me, I just am able to use them easier. They're a little bit more, I want to say kind of wet, or they have a little bit more open time because they are part dye-based ink and part pigment ink, and pigment inks take longer to dry. And I think that's why I use them. And you know, guys, you know, we have not really used a lot of other methods with distress inks, but some of the best parts about distress oxides is like when they get water, when you add water to them, and all of the fabulous ways that they kind of, I want to say break apart, but all the ways that they look, and it actually looks like oxidation. And so each one of those colors has different like undertones, like when they begin to oxidize, we'll just call it oxidize. And they just are so cool. And when you use them like that, and you know, you probably are going to get more of that if you're using them for mixed media, not just using them for paper crafting, right? And Susan says we've kept her company while cleaning the bathroom, and she fed the hummingbirds. Excellent. I feel like my job is complete today. You guys, I'll do better. Next time I'll be ready and show my face. I tell you, we had a lot of crazy stuff going on this morning with, I don't know, some people were out in the yard doing some stuff, and the big dog was just bonkers, and my husband had to go out and talk to him. And then you would think that this dog, if the people were just outside working, because we have a fairly big yard, and it's way more than we can deal with by ourselves, and we have a couple of guys come and help us all the time. They are really reasonable, and they do such good work for us, and they'll help us with, you know, just about anything we need done outside. And so it's like we just kind of wish this big dog would realize it's the same guys all the time, and it's okay for them to be in the yard. But he doesn't like them there. So then we'll still have to figure out something for a closure at some point. But, you know, just doing it like this, we didn't put anything in for a bigger spine. We didn't make the spine bigger. The other envelope and card journal that I've shown you before, we actually worked on it and made the spine bigger. But I don't think with the size of these, the flaps on here and the way that these are made, that really didn't make sense to do it like that. And you know, a lot of times for our junk journals, we don't mind them like getting bulky and just kind of pulling apart, right? And just needing something to keep them closed. So I just decided this would be a fun way to go for this one. And now I'm sorry that I did that to this. I could use, you know what I could do? I could kind of fix that and put another strip in here and cover some of that up. I might do that. I don't like that at all. And I might, I don't know what I'm going to use for these sides. Maybe I'll go a completely different way. Like I said, maybe I'll look for some blue and yellow to use, because man, that is a gorgeous combination, right? I actually have some paper like that from Stampin' Up. I don't know if I've got enough left to do the whole journal like that. And then it kind of, I don't know, then I'm kind of committed to that whole color scheme. Then it doesn't seem so junky. I don't know what we would do with that, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I think that we are going to call that done for now, and we will pick up. I have taken way longer on this episode than I had planned to for you guys. But I hope you had some ideas to start your own, and we'll be back next week. We'll see what we're going to do, and I'll have all of mine covered. I don't know what with yet, but I hope you will be back, and I will see you next time. So next Wednesday, let's see, what is next Wednesday? Let me look real quick. Are we already into... Okay, next Wednesday is the 28th already. No, that's now. No. I am, oh my goodness, I am calendar challenged today. Today's the 21st. Okay, next week, is the 28th. Okay, you guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next time. You take care. Have a great day. Do something creative, no matter what it is. And it doesn't have to be just with crafting. You can be creative in all kinds of ways. So get out there and have a wonderful day, you guys. Bye-bye.